Greetings again. This is Dr. Bill Wyatt with the American Orthodontic Society. And I want to cover something this morning that people have believed that you could not take teeth and move them out where there wasn't any bone structure out there. And the old surgeons believed it, they've been taught that, and then the orthodontists believe it because they've been taught that, and that they didn't think you could take the teeth and move the lower arch. We're going to show a scissor bite here where the upper teeth actually missed the lower teeth, and we had to expand the upper teeth some more to bring them out, and we brought the lower teeth on out past where they were, moved them almost a ½ inch. And I'll show this case, and this will work, and it is correct. And it is not correct that you can't take a group of teeth and move them over in an area where there's no bone structure. And I'll show you where a group of old surgeons and then some orthodontists, I didn't know who they are, I don't want to know who they are, but there was one of the men there that was in that I had a course, and he voted against it, but they went ahead and did it. But he brought me the pictures of it, and I'm going to show them here. You can move teeth where there are no teeth. In other words, you take the whole bunch of teeth out like that. Let's get on with it, and I'll show you this. And this is a mistake that people have been taught this, and they just believe it. It's kind of like a baby elephant. You can pin him to the ground with a chain and a stake that he can't break, and he tries to break it, and then he can't break it, and he believes that the rest of his life. You can tie a big elephant up with a stake that he can snap out of the ground very easily, and that apparently I've been taught that's what works. Let's go and look at this young man right here. Now he has what we call a scissor bite, and the upper teeth have to be expanded a lot to get them in there. And when we did that expansion, it would take place and his mouth would look perfectly fine, expanded there. Now you look, the cuspids are sticking way out to the sides here on here. Now on this side of the mouth here, the back molars were completely underneath, weren't even touching the teeth, weren't hitting one another. You'll see it a little better on another picture when we get there. And the other side met perfectly fine. So we wanted to expand the left side of the mouth of this area over here and leave this together. And I want to show the trick that we use to do that. You can take one side of the mouth and widen it out and still not take this one out of its position at all. So this side right in here is good. It's staying there. It's in a good relationship and everything. But the cuspid is sticking out here. So we needed to widen that, and we widened both sides of the mouth to some extent. All right. Here the upper arch is. These cuspids are sticking way out here. We're going to bring this out and bring the cuspids in line. We're going to move them out. And these teeth were missing on the left side. The lower teeth fit right in underneath here, like that. And we called it a scissor bite. One group of teeth kind of slide past the other like the blades of a pair of scissors. Now here's the bottom arch was in like this, and the upper teeth came down and fit out here like that. So we had to expand the upper a little bit more, and we expanded these a tremendous amount of difference. And I moved them out, it looked like almost a ½ inch. Now when you look at the models, before we started this case, here are the lower teeth on this side, and they missed the upper teeth. They fit on the side of the teeth right there. And we were going to widen all these lower teeth out, but we're going to widen the upper ones out too. And we want to carry it on one side and leave the other side correct. And I have to show you how that is being done. Now here's a little better picture showing how the bicuspid is completely over. This one is hitting here. These molars miss right here. Now we're going to have to expand the upper, bring it out like this, and that makes the lower have to go even further, and we'll bring the lower teeth out to meet that. And this is taught by oral surgeons and orthodontics in this group. I wasn't there. I would have really pitched a fit if they were trying to do this to this woman. And what they did, they pulled these teeth down here and split the bone and put implants leaning out like that at a tremendous amount of money, and a ridiculous thing to do, not knowing what can be done. And that's what I want to get across. This was a group of university-trained orthodontists and university-trained oral surgeons that said you couldn't do this. Now, we'll go ahead. Now, here we come in with a large arch wire, and we expand both sides of the lower arch. And we expand the upper arch to make room for these cuspids, you see, to come in. So this went out some. We expanded this side a little bit, but not much. We kept them, the lower teeth fitting underneath it. Now over here we had to carry it a lot more expansion on the bottom and a little bit up above to bring this out to fit. Now what we do in that, we hook elastics here, and we're pushing this out, but we don't want this to go very far. So we run up and hook it to the inside of this, and over here we hook it to the inside, come in and bring it to the outside. So it pulls this out. So you widen one side of the arch, and you didn't widen the other, or you kept it, you widened the upper one and the lower the same amount. But this on the left side we expanded the lower side almost a ½ inch in there. Now let's show it. We push this out, and we'll push this in. Now we used two class 2 elastics. In other words, these are pulling back here, and this looks like it's in the same plane, but it's coming from the inside of these teeth to the outside of these up here. Outside of these to the inside of the ones over here. And these are class 2, pulling the lower jaw forward and bringing the upper jaw back so that it'll meet properly there. Now, we kept doing this, holding it in there, and we started this case, put the big daddy arch wire in 11/30 of 89, and we'll see what time it took to take that. Here's 11/30 of 89. We're going to expand these teeth, and then we're going to expand the lower ones even more to come out and fit underneath those. And that's 89. Here is the wire that we used to expand it. And then we'd have to, they were leaning anyway, so we'll bring them out. And you can put the buccal root torque if you need to carry the roots out with the crowns. This was 4 of 89. Now here we've got this pretty well out there now, and this is 1 of 90, 4 of 89. So if January, it took us about 6 or 8 months to bring those teeth out. And that's the slow arches out here. These teeth are not out of the bone yet. They've been expanded a tremendous amount to come out there. These expanded some, expanded over here. These went out same that this does. And this right here, the bottom side over here went way out, and this was out a little bit right up here. Now there's the lower arch, and I had a periodontist came by one time I was lecturing at, and he came in there and he just swarmed down. We pulled the teeth out of the bone. And I told the man, I said, we did not. You can see the bone structure is still on the teeth over here, and it's on this side. And regardless of what this guy, he just would not believe that we brought these teeth from way over here, he brought them over there, and the bone went with the teeth, but it does. And this is the proof is in the pudding, and that's happened, and that is true. And I will stand behind that regardless. It'll do this 50 years from now. It's not going to be something that you learn that won't work, but it'll work for you if you'll do it. Now here's the bottom. On the right side over here, we're using class 2 elastics to bring the lower jaw forward. Class 2 elastics over on this side. And that's where we brought this bone out. And you can palpate on these teeth, and they have bone on the teeth. I told that guy, I said, I'm not going to skin it so I can show you that the bone is there. It is there. And you can do some x-rays nowadays. We've got such super x-rays we can show that too. Now here's the upper teeth brought out to some extent. The cuspids have plenty of room. And now the bottom arch is expanded out. The bone structure is still good here, and we still have bone on this side right here. And these teeth were moved from somewhere over like that, moved it way out there. Now we put class 2 elastics on there, and that this is a distorted picture here. This really came out in that fashion. And I showed that the picture was taken wrong. Now this is the side that this was missing. We expanded this, and then this had to be expanded even more to bring it out. And these teeth are right underneath there, and you can see the bone structure. You can palpate it. On there, the bone went with the teeth, and they're there. And now I'll show this other case how it was done. And that's messed up on the picture on that side. But here the picture is again the 4/17 of 90, and that's out there. And that's bone structure out. And we brought the bottom jaw forward, brought this back, put these cuspids down in here, and have this molar out in front here, and this is correct there. The whole thing is correct. This side is not quite as good in this picture, this coming in. This tooth's a little bit out. We could have pulled this forward a little bit more and brought this back a little more to get that exactly where it ought to be. And here is the young man after we had finished the teeth, fixed up like that. And there it is when we, I think that was when we started the case. And this was back. And we moved that out. And this is the bone structure those teeth were in. And the teeth moved the whole bone structure. In other words, the whole bus moved out and the teeth were on the bus. And they stayed together. Now you couldn't take one tooth and just move it out that far. It would come out of the bone to some extent, or you might could expand it if it took a long time to do it. But this we did in a relatively short length of time. And there it is again. And that's the thing finished in 19. And this young man is 20 years old, 20 and 7 months old. and that's the teeth are brought out in that area. Here he is again, and there are the teeth when we started, and there it is right there. And that's, we kept that side in, you see. We started that side. We had to bring this forward. Now this is corrected for the expansion here, but this tooth ought to be brought in this path. So we had to move this forward. So we moved this molar, something like that, and that would bring this out where it fits here, and we expanded this and brought this tooth down. Now look at the side here. Now this one is corrected fully all the way. The lower molar will be out here past this. The bicuspids are fitting. It's rooted down there isn't exactly correct, but we've got this side out, and all of this was done by 1991. We had a deep bite too, and those cuspids were sticking over the top, and we brought the teeth up, lined them up. He's got a 3-3 on the back side of this, which we'll take all that off when we finished it. And this is where these teeth actually missed in here. This one was on, that one missed, this one did too. And so this side was brought out much more than the lower. The uppers brought out much more, and the lowers brought a tremendous amount out. And this will work. And I don't care if you believe this bone isn't there, it is there. And I can see old surgeons may not want to do this. They might want to come in there and they would have sectioned this part out. And let me show you what they actually did. They pulled the good teeth and spread the bone and put the implants at an angle. And that was, to me, is a big mistake they made. And this is 91 was out there, and this is 89. The teeth are in there, and there they are, 91. And the bone is on the teeth. Now, I'll admit that this bone looks a little thicker over here than it does on this side, but there's bone structure on the outside. And you leave it alone, and this will thin out, and that will come out on the outside. And these teeth are lined up completely. We need to take the brands off there. And there it is in 92 with the lower teeth out meeting here. Now, this can be done, and if I can do it, you certainly can do it. So we widened the lower arch and got it out of what we call a scissor bite there. And here's the young man, and that's the end of our deal. So I thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something here and learn that you can do this. In other words, if you're a big elephant, you can pull the stake up. Now, so don't believe because you've been taught that this is something that can't be done. If it doesn't make sense, try it. You can do it very gently, and if you're moving the teeth out, stop. But when they put this on there, I knew that group of teeth would carry their bone with them because I'd seen it too much time, and now you've seen it. Thanks for watching, and I want to hang up and I'll show you what we got from the information to this other case. Thank you again. Hope you'll join our group, and you can expand teeth where there is no bone. Bye-bye.